you love movies, then you will love this podcast. Join the filmmaker, the film buff, and the film librarian as they break down, in sometimes hilarious manner, some of the best films you have never heard of. From the 60s to the 80s to the digital age, Tales from the Video Store covers it all. Check out this hot podcast anywhere you can download podcasts. And for more information, check out their Facebook page or group or their website, VideoStoreTales.com. And just remember, you are my number one guy.
Welcome to American Maniacs, starring Wayne Gale.
Good evening. I'm standing on the Highway 666 that runs between Cortez and North Carolina. This is the strip where the murderous Lee Bridges and the murderous Doug Wall have been laying waste to human after human. Tonight, Lee Bridges and Doug Wall on American Maniacs.
Yeah, I was parked in the parking lot of the Krispy Kreme. Officer Stevens walk out, clutching 3 coffees and 6 bear claws. Next thing I know, it looked like somebody from the car was asking for directions, and then up came that shotgun.
Doug Wall is super cool! Super cool!
Oh, Lee! He's so fun!
I'm surprised they didn't kill Garrick first. I hate him on that podcast. He's awful.
Well, I'm not into podcasts per se, but if I was, I'd be Lee fucking Bridges.
These two are the most depraved couple of shit fucks I've ever had the displeasure of housing in my fucking prison.
Now that they're apprehended, American Maniacs gets the exclusive. Right after Tom Brady wins his 37th Super Bowl ring, we are talking with Doug Wall and Lee Bridges in Batongaville! In Batongaville!
I say go for it, Wayne.
Oh yeah, why is that?
Because I'm a natural-born podcaster.
That was American Maniacs! But now a special edition to go with American Maniacs of Tales from the Video Store. It's number 97, ladies and gentlemen. Garrick Lane, Lee Bridges, and Doug Wall. How we doing, boys?
Are you alright?
I am great. I'm in prison mode, man.
You were like screaming that out like you were on the fucking toilet. Like you were really trying to grunt it out. I just wanted to make sure physically you were okay.
Hey boys, we got a riot going on in B-Wing. Batonga! Here in Batongaville. What do you got for us?
I don't know how this is going to work, but apparently there's going to be a quote-unquote direct sequel of the 1997 John Travolta and Nicolas Cage action extravaganza, John Woo's, I don't want to say epic, although I really did enjoy it, Face Off.
Goddamn hell shit fire.
I'm not really sure exactly how this is going to go, but I think it's an interesting... it's one of those movies I expected to get remade at some point, not necessarily sequeled.
Well, let me ask you a question. Would you rather see a remake or a sequel if you had to see one?
A remake.
Remake, okay.
Because I don't want to see... I mean, I'm fine to see Cage doing Cage shit, but he's dead.
Right.
And I don't really want to see Travolta.
Because Travolta's wife is dead.
How fucking
That is
dare
true.
you.
I'm not really...
It's true, but, man...
He's not doing the movies anymore. Did you not hear what he said? He's like, I'm done. Once Kelly died, he's walked.
Oh, I was hoping he was talking about Scientology, not the film industry. Okay.
No, I wasn't trying to be an asshole. I know there was a nice, uncomfortable, awkward moment But Travolta was kind of...
Yeah, I hadn't heard that, so I was wondering why you said his wife was dead.
No, that's going to be great. I might leave that on the show and see how many people cut it off at that moment. But no, really, I don't think he's into it anymore. I think he kind of said
that's good, because if you're not into it, he's certainly got enough money.
Yes, he just said his spirit kind of died with Kelly.
To spend time with his kids and, you know.
He had a son die too. Like, he's probably just, you know what I mean? He's probably just kind of like, dude, I don't want to get into this anymore. I've done everything I need to do, and I don't need to do anything else. I mean, but
all praises be to Lord L. Ron Hubbard.
Praise Xenu.
Yeah, and Xenu.
They're getting ready to go down, though, aren't they?
Who cares?
I do.
The only other, I did see a little tidbit. I saw a headline of an article that I did not read the article. Spike Lee said that he would consider directing a Marvel movie.
Right, I read that.
If it was the right story. I mean, can you imagine Spike Lee getting the handbook and being like, I don't understand, and they're like, no, this is the protocol book. This is how we make these movies, and you're either going to follow this or you're not. I could see him getting attached to a movie, and then before production, stepping away from set.
Just going, dude,
before I can actually see him going all the way through with making a Marvel movie. I think it would be very odd.
Well, I mean, he did adapt a Japanese comic book. He did the remake of Old Boy, and that was such a huge success that us. Clearly.
Yeah.
Clearly he should make an American comic.
With Josh Brolin as the lead smoking a cigarette between all the fighting in that scene. God, what a terrible movie.
Yeah.
I mean, hey, if he had a superhero that flew, his moving camera shots, you know, where he puts the actor on the dolly and he moves around, those will be cool.
That dolly pull from like space is going to be really dope.
Yeah,
but honestly, I mean, the world needs. I would rather see a Spike Lee movie than I would see a Spike Lee Marvel movie.
Right.
Oh, amen to that.
Yeah.
100.
That just doesn't. I mean, hey, listen, if he just wants to do it, make an obscene amount of money, God bless him. But you know, I don't really see the point in it because, like Doug said, if he does do it, he's just going to be doing the dialogue scenes, and he could be doing that anyway, not having to spend 6 months watching stuntmen do other things.
Yeah.
You know.
Right. Absolutely on that, for sure. Well, with that said about Marvel, has either one of you guys seen WandaVision? Have anybody watched WandaVision? It's becoming like a craze, and I thought it was kind of I watched the first one and was like, I get it, but I'm okay, and I haven't watched any more, but everybody's saying that it's brilliant. I mean, completely brilliant. No?
I shit-canned my Disney.
Did you really? After Mandalorian?
After Mandalorian. I told you I was going to do
You're going to get back on with Boba Fett?
No. I'll get back on maybe at some point. But there's just not enough content there that I ever watch, you know. Something like WandaVision or some of these other, like, you know, side Star Wars project or Marvel projects, I don't have any interest in whatsoever.
Okay. Well, I haven't either, so I have no say. I was just curious if you guys knew what all that hype was about.
And you said something last week about that Boba Fett show that you thought that Robert Rodriguez was signed on to direct. He's just a producer.
Well, that still bring a little bit of that.
Yeah, it's him and Favreau and his partner. I can't remember her name, but yeah, he's just lending his name to it. He might direct an episode or two, but I don't think he's going to. It's like
he'll probably do the pilot.
Yeah, and maybe some other ones, but I don't think it's really like his project or anything close to that.
Well, he'll go make Shark Kid and Lava Boy 4.
I think
that's like that sequel he made. I think it's called We Are Heroes. That's like the most popular movie in the history of Netflix.
Is it really?
It's been in the top 10 for like 50 days,
and it's terrible.
Did you watch it?
I'm sure it is terrible.
Yeah, it's like it's Shark Boy and Lava Girl. That movie was god awful, and my kids watched it over and over again.
And that's why the sequel's popular, because of Netflix. They could just They don't even have to rewind the tape or find the DVD. They can just hit play again.
That's right. I guess it's right. He does, man. I'll give it to him.
Stuff so repetitiously, especially little kids.
Oh, yeah. Well, and he just does all that on a green screen. I mean, he just brings everybody down to Austin, and he's got his own studio down there. He does everything right there. He does it so cheap, so efficiently. I mean, why wouldn't somebody buy his movies? Because he made so much money off Spy Kids. He basically put Austin on the map for production. Everything any production that's happening in Austin, he's got his name in, or it's on like his house. Like the studio and everything is right there with his house. That'd be like me, walking out my back porch and just walking into work. Like
that's cool.
It's a dream, absolutely.
That's fucking great. I'm sure that's what he always wanted, and now he has it.
Oh, that's true.
Yeah,
that's very true. It's very true. No, I have not seen that movie. I watched the trailer and said, "That's a Robert Rodriguez kid movie." I want to be watching that.
Oh yeah.
Hey, speaking of people watching stuff. Did you guys see the China box office? A movie called China Detective made $343 million over the weekend. Packed theaters. This is China. Packed theaters. People watching movies again.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
Do you think it comes back here?
Well, I mean, that's two different. I mean, excuse me. Two different countries and two different cultures. I mean, not right now. Not in that sort of way.
That's crazy to me. That is a lot of money, man.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah. The what is the name of those movies? The Wolf Warrior movies. They make I think Wolf Warrior 2 made like $1 billion just at the Chinese box office.
Wow.
And and to be honest with you, most mainland Chinese movies I see are not particularly good. Mm-mm. Especially if you compare it to Hong Kong movies 20 years ago. It's not even close. But if you live in a country where the government can prop up the movie industry like that, you could probably do some. And the Wolf Warrior, I think it's either 1 or 2. The main character literally puts on the Chinese flag as a cape at one point. I mean, it's just complete giant CGI propaganda.
Yeah. I'm not shocked.
Yeah.
All right. I just thought that those numbers were big.
They are.
For a pandemic.
But there's a lot of motherfuckers in China, dude.
There's a lot of motherfuckers here.
Not in comparison.
Okay, fair enough on that. Are either one of you excited about this Justice League movie?
It's 4 fucking hours long.
Is it really
dude?
4 hours? And how? I didn't do my homework on this because I was too busy watching Tarantino movies this week. But so Snyder made a movie that was 4 hours and added a whole bunch of people that got cut. Is that how this is going to work? Is it really 4 hours, Lee?
Yes, it is. It's 4 hours.
Wow.
Well, I mean, basically, he was making the movie, and his daughter committed suicide, so he had to quit, at that point. And then they finished the movie with Joss Whedon.
That's right.
And so then I will give total credit to Snyder's fans for, let's see, when did Justice League come out? 2018?
Something like that, yeah.
Sure.
Yeah. So the last 2.5 years, they have been basically clamoring for Warner Brothers to have him finish his cut. And it went from something that will never happen to something that could maybe happen to something that is happening as we speak just on fan fervor. I mean, it's because when the movie came out, they were like, yeah, Snyder's never finishing his cut. That will never happen. The theatrical cut is the cut. And that, in 2 years later, that is, So, there's going to be a 4-hour version of an R-rated Justice League movie that a bunch of nerds in their parents' basement basically tweeted into existence.
And made it happen, yeah.
And made it happen. So, even if it's good or terrible, it still shows you what a dedicated fan base can do.
And there's been a ton of reshoots and add-ins and all this crazy shit. Like Batman and Joker are supposed to have a little moment together. I mean,
I knew that they had added.
Here's the thing. I don't fucking care.
Yeah, I don't either.
4 fucking hours, dude? 4?
Are you not going to watch
You
it?
lose your fucking mind? No, no, fucking watch it.
Yeah. The Irishman was 3:10.
I mean, come on, man. Look, dude, I get people who I guess are just absolutely obsessed with like these modern superhero movies and their fantasy fucking what the fuck ever, and you know, we gotta have the Snyder cut and he's gonna do it right and what the fuck. I mean, I guess, man. Move the fuck on. Like, move along. You know, it's like you said, it's amazing that it got made. But do I think it's going to be like some completely different movie from the other one? God, I hope so, because the other one was crap.
Yeah.
So, maybe there's no place to go but up with this, but still, I don't have any fucking interest in it whatsoever.
I would have to have absolutely nothing to do one day.
Or be like injured.
Yeah, exactly.
I feel like a hernia surgery.
Like if I'm in a fucking if I break my back and I can't do anything, I need to fill 4 hours in the middle of a fucking random Tuesday, then maybe it'll get a day in court.
When I got my vasectomy, I was for the first time ever. I mean, the first time in 20 years. I was told by a doctor and everybody else to lay down. Do not do anything, Garrick. Do nothing. I want you to sit with a bag of frozen peas on your balls and do nothing.
Right.
And I watched Braveheart, The Godfather 2, and ended in Gladiator. And that was my day. And that was the last time ever I was able to do something like that. Oh, and then there was Lord of the Rings Day. New Year's Day when I was hungover as hell.
And you just put them all in and just sat there for
Just
like
sat there
15
because
hours.
I was so damn hungover. But yes, that's...
Did The Hangover improve the movie?
Man, I'll tell you what. I watched the first one and I thought I was really going to like it. But then it's just kept going. It's kind of like Lord of the Rings. Like, it's just the same old, like... It feels like you're in an infinity loop of fantasy, and it just gets so old. You know what I mean? It just gets so old.
Wait, did you watch the original Lord of the Rings or the Hobbit trilogy on New Year's?
No, I'm sorry. The Hobbit. I'm sorry.
Oh, so you absolutely had nothing to do.
I did. Well, I couldn't do anything. My wife was working. The kids were gone. Every other kids were gone, and I was nursing a massive hangover.
Well, then The Hangover probably did improve them.
Probably. But like I said, I was kind of excited at first. I liked the first one. And then about halfway through the second one, I'm like, man, this is a lot of fucking hobbits. This is a lot of fights. This is a lot of fucking, like the
walking.
The Troll King, dude. That
Lots
part
of
was kind of
fucking
cool.
walking, man.
It was a lot.
It's one of the worst theatrical experiences I've ever had in my life.
Yeah, I get it. You're a Peter Jackson fan.
Oh yeah.
And you just the Lord of the Rings. You would.
Now, I'm bad taste to the Frighteners.
Okay, and then you're done. Oh yeah, because you don't like King Kong. Yeah, then you're done. Yeah.
What? Yeah.
He hasn't done anything good, has he? Since.
He's done
He hasn't done any small movies.
I'm sure he has, but I just
has.
can't think of anything off the top of my head.
Well, speaking of new cuts and 4-hour cuts of a movie somebody else did, our feature this week is Natural Born Killers. And I will preface it with, I read Quentin Tarantino's original script.
I want you to introduce this movie anyway, Garrick.
Oh, yeah?
Yes, please.
Well, this one is very simple.
I did last week. Lee's definitely doing next week. And you're doing right now. So.
Okay, so this is Natural Born Killers, Oliver Stone, 1996.
I was thinking 93 or 4.
Okay, 94, whatever it was. There's only one of them. It's Mickey and Mallory Knox, murderous road trip across the country, and subsequently they get incarcerated by Jack Scagnetti outside of a drug store after getting bit by snakes on an Indian plantation, and end up in Batongaville, and then on the great Super Bowl Eve, where Tom Brady wins his 37th Super Bowl ring. Oh, wait a minute. Or the Dallas Cowboys back then when their Super Bowl, their 5th Super Bowl in a row. Wayne Gale, played by Robert Downey Jr., one of the best parts of the movie, interviews Mickey, which leads to a jailbreak of the ages. Ladies and gentlemen, the kinetic, almost seizure-inducing natural-born killers. Now,
well done.
let me speak just one thing real fast, because we all probably love this movie. I read the Quentin Tarantino script. It's crazy different, but it's like Oliver Stone took. So I'll just break this down. Everybody's seen this movie. I don't think anybody that's watching and listening to this podcast has not seen Natural Born Killers. I mean, I'm just going to be safe to say that.
Okay.
So in the Quentin Tarantino script, it starts off, the first scene is the coffee shop.
In the diner.
That's correct.
Right.
The next scene, they're in prison, and Wayne's talking to him. And they're introducing, and Jack Scagnetti and Mikulski, played by Tommy Lee Jones, the best character in the movie, are talking about moving them to Lobotomy Bay. And then the whole setup, it goes, half the script is set up of the setup of the interview and what's going to happen. In the middle of the movie is the big long 40-minute montage of what Mickey and Mallory did.
Okay.
And it's extended. It's an extended montage. There's lots of other scenes. There was no eating mushrooms in the desert. There was no Indian where getting gas. No drugstore looking for snake bite juice. Even just the hotel where they're traveling and they get married on the bridge. All that. None of that had anything to do with anything. So in the middle is this big long 35-minute, 40-minute montage of all these things that they did. And then it goes back to the interview, and then the prison break, and we're out. And it's shorter, and it's funny, and it's hard to read because it's kind of like watching Indiana Jones, but it's not I said Han Solo. It's not Harrison Ford. It was very weird because I can't vision that one. I feel like that montage in the middle kind of took me out of it, but Oliver Stone basically, what he basically did was took every one of Quentin's lines, all the classic lines in this movie are Quentin's, 100%.
Well, you can tell that.
Yeah, 100%. He just took the story and completely smashed it, crushed it. So I can understand why Tarantino didn't like this. There wasn't all that crazy freaking media, subliminal messaging and shit, all that stuff that Oliver added, and all those crazy cuts. There were a couple of Quentin Tarantino jump cuts and his kind of stuff, but it was a completely different movie. With that said, I still love Oliver Stone's movie. I still do.
Okay.
It was very, we were getting out of high school. We were in a, rebellious time of our lives. I was getting ready to go to college. Wanted to make movies. It came out at a perfect time where, for me, it was very influential, and we enjoyed a lot of those lines.
Oh yeah,
many a nights.
Used them for years.
Shut up, Gail, you prick.
Still use them.
I still use them. Yes.
What you got there, Scooter? Give it up.
Give it up.
I find myself reliving that. When I watched it. And somebody would say something, that we used to just go on and on and on about. And, man, I kind of have a different feelings when I watched it this time. I think it's probably been 15 years.
We're mature. We've matured.
Well, I don't know if I'm mature, but I'm definitely a different person than I was in 1994. And And it's got some scenes that I really, really do like that we'll get into. And it's got some other scenes that I really, really fucking hate. And I hated them more now than I ever had before. They stood out to me as, like, painful to watch. So...
You're crazy.
I'm just saying it's...
You are fucking crazy.
To me, watching it in 94, I was a different person then. I have evolved, and it's just not the same for me now.
Kind of like Mickey says at the beginning. Well, the last time I tried key lime pie, I was a completely different person.
The last time I tried Natural Born Killers, I was a completely different fucking person.
I'd still give Juliette Lewis head on a freaking call. I'd give it on a freaking AMC Gremlin, for God's sakes.
I know you would, and that's fine. There's nothing wrong with that.
All right, well then, okay, so now we've got arguments going on. Lee, weigh in, and then we can go with this.
Okay, well, it's interesting what Doug said, because he said he did like it in 1994, and he doesn't like it so much now. Well, I didn't like it in 1994, and I fucking hate it now.
You hated it, didn't you?
I did. I can't stand any movie where they tell me what the movie's about. When you talk about in the dialogue the message of the movie, I just check out.
Yeah.
I just, you know.
What does that mean? Please give me an example of what you're talking about.
Oh, well, they're talking about, how the thing we just parodied in the opening, the montage of people talking about how they're like rock stars. And it's the tagline of the movie, the media made them stars. And it's so fucking heavy-handed. It's so Oliver Stone. And it's, you know, it's just like, here's what the movie's about. They're murderers, but it's the constant media coverage of them that made them famous, and just fuck me running, and the rear screen projection while they're driving is just Garrick, you remember? Listen, I'm sure you went to film school with people who thought they were going to make movies that changed the world.
Yes, I did. Correct.
And I'm sure their student films were fucking atrocious.
Yeah. Yes, mine were too.
Oh, mine were too, but at no point when I made mine did I think anybody was going to see it and it was going to cure fucking homelessness or it was going to expose the media's obsession with violence or whatever bullshit. Mine were just shitty 5-minute shorts. And to me, this just has that sort of student film feeling. We're just it's the media that it's their insistence on showing this stuff. That's what blah blah blah. And I just don't like it. I didn't like it then, and I fucking hate it now. And I completely agree with Tarantino. When the story that he went up and punched the producer in the face at a restaurant, I wish I had that on DVD.
Yeah.
But the characters, I didn't think I was...
And I will agree that Tommy Lee Jones is the best thing in the movie.
He's amazing.
He's amazing in the movie. He gets the movie more than everybody else, because he's a cartoon. His character, his performance is kind of similar to his performance in Batman Forever, where he's just off the fucking rails.
Yeah.
Right. And I agree 100%.
I'm not sure who should have gotten Best Supporting Actor nod, Tom Sizemore or the cocaine inside of Tom Sizemore when he made this movie. But, you know, he's also very good. And I don't know. It's just, you know, any movie where I can just, you know, I feel like the message like hammered in on me. It turns me off.
Yeah, it's too much.
Yeah.
Yeah, I agree.
And I will say this in defense of Oliver Stone, a movie he made a couple years after that, which is also very sleazy. U-Turn is a movie that I really like.
I fucking love U-Turn.
Because it
you guys fucking kidding me?
It's just scummy entertainment.
Scummy entertainment, and just, man, I love Sean Penn in that so much, dude. He's just the worst and the best.
Shit. Absolutely.
Everything about that movie I fucking love, dude.
Yeah. So I don't want it to seem like I'm just shitting on Oliver Stone.
No.
So do you enjoy... So while we're talking about Oliver Stone, do you enjoy his JFK movies, his big movies?
I did when I was 12. Now that I've looked into it more, I realized that a lot of the guy Kevin Costner's playing is just nonsense. His conspiracy theories. Once you look into it, they do not hold up.
No, you're right. They don't. But he did a good job. He did a good job of showing it.
He does a good job of, and JFK
raising the question.
And then just the insanity, just how everyone like my mom told me my mom was born in the mid '50s, and so like she said when that happened when she was a little girl that they closed schools. Like, everybody went home and cried. Like, that's how big a thing JFK was.
Yeah.
And that is sort of what the movie shows you. He was this, like, people thought he was going to be, like, the leader, you know.
And he got interest back into it, you
right.
know, because it's, you know, it was such an unsolved kind of a deal.
Right.
And surrounded in so much mystery. And like you say, I like a lot of Oliver Stone's movies. I'm not trying to shit on him, but it's like he got something from somebody... And it's almost like he felt like he was challenged to go so far over the top with some of it that for some people it works, and for other people it just doesn't work at all. And back then, I think it kind of worked for me because of how outrageous it was. But when I watched it this time, I felt like I was watching like a fucking Rob Zombie movie a lot of the times with like all the constant flashing pictures of fucking bullshit in the background and windows and shit. That drives me crazy, dude. I
like that, but I
fucking hated that so fucking much. I almost stopped the movie. I almost stopped the fucking movie when they were in the hotel room. I was like, dude, please stop doing this. I will say this, though. There's a couple of scenes I want to get into that I really, really fucking like because of the way that Oliver Stone does it, I think, is what makes it. The opening scene, the scene at the diner, I think it's one of the best scenes of the movie. I just love I love the whole, like, the dialogue and
even the cutaway from the green key lime pie to the green jukebox.
It's fun.
It's like
that's fun. And I like the introduction of Mickey and Mallory that way, where they kill everybody there. I enjoyed that scene. My favorite is the stuff that he does with Rodney Dangerfield. Now, I don't necessarily like the sitcom in the movie kind of thing that he does,
right?
But
by the way, in Quentin's screenplay, not to interrupt you, but just as a footnote, the only thing they said about Dad was that he was Mallory and Mickey drowned him in a fish tank. That was it. They never saw a scene with him.
I like how Dangerfield was cast because he was such a fucking great comedian and such a charismatic human being, that has a very unique look to him and voice and style. Unique. That putting him in this role and then having him say just the most god-awful things to his daughter and to his wife and to his son, doing it with a laugh track and making it making the audience laugh while he's saying all this crazy shit. To me, that's really good filmmaking. That's good storytelling using film, I thought. I think it's really cool. I don't know if it's...
Wait till I get up to her room. She won't see me for it. She won't see my face for it.
Yeah, I don't know if it's necessarily the filmmaker or the casting or just the combination, but that scene and how he kind of manipulates the audience into laughing and smiling while this fucking monster is doing all this shit is pretty good.
Meat man cocksucker. Wait till I get him.
Yeah, I really enjoyed that. Watching it again. After that...
This kind of food you pray after you eat.
Yeah, but after that... And his lines aren't great. But it's
Rodney Dangerfield.
But it's fucking Dangerfield, and you can't not smile while you're watching it, and he's saying all this awful shit, to his wife and to Mallory. But really from there, man, goddamn, I really just did not enjoy it like I thought I was going to. I just didn't. Are there a few scenes? Yeah, but man, it's like you talked about, the shrooms to the shaman. It's like, we're eating mushrooms, and then next thing you know, they're out in the fucking middle of nowhere, and of course they're going to stumble upon some fucking Native Americans, and Just that whole fucking scene, I fucking hated it so goddamn much this time, man. Like Lee said, it's just, you're just pushing it in my face. It's like, dude, if you're if you're as good a filmmaker as I believe you to be, you don't need to fucking force feed me, dude. And it feels force fed. Feels force fed. I just didn't like it. The next thing that I think I did like is the intro to the prison.
Oh, sure.
With
McCluskey
and Scagnetti when they're walking through. That whole part is fucking great. The interview is fucking, the build to the interview, where Woody shaves his head and goes out there and is talking about this demon, and he says a line, he's like, my daddy had it. And he really did. Because his daddy was a fucking murderous cunt. He might still be alive, I don't know. But I know he's in prison for murder. So when he said that shit, he was not lying or acting like. I felt like that was some actual Woody coming out in that scene, that little interview scene, or at least parts of it. And then on to the riot, to the end. It is what it is. It has some hit moments and it has some miss moments, It's just like, whatever. I just, like I say, for a movie that I really, really enjoyed in 94, man, to now, I fucking evolved, dude. And I didn't appreciate it. And like Lee said, it felt like a student movie. Like, with all that goddamn garbage in the background is exactly what it felt like to me. It was like you're just trying too fucking hard, man.
Well, I still enjoyed it. I think I enjoyed it. Maybe I had nostalgia, but I enjoyed it because I can recite it.
Right.
I mean, and fucking Robert Downey Jr. When he's like, "Man, it's a fucking restaurant." Just some of the lines, and then they cut to all this chaotic shit. They cut back to him, and he's talking to Ming, and he's like, "Look, if she calls you, just don't put anything on paper. Don't put anything on paper. If she calls again, say, 'Hi, welcome to Ming's restaurant. Can I take your order?'" I mean, it's just the little shit like that. The little cutaways, the little scenes. I like shit like that.
The dialogue.
I like it, yeah.
And who wrote the fucking dialogue?
I like the jump. There was so many jump cuts where they just went from a third profile to this, and in normal editing it would be like, holy shit, why'd you do that? But this, it works. It's all over the place,
yeah.
And that's why I like it. But I'm a guy that can watch The Phantom Thread 16 times, and I'm a guy that can watch Natural Born Killers 16 times. Two totally different movies.
Yeah.
But I still enjoy it, man. I think I enjoy it for how I enjoyed it then. It's the same movie, and I get you. We have evolved in that kind of loud shit, like.
It was just like all the other shit, I didn't need to see like all the background shit. The coolest fucking cutaways and background shit that he didn't utilize enough was like the animation stuff looked fucking great, but it's like it would just give you a taste of it, and then it's on to some fucking screaming dude with blood pouring out of his face, and it's like, god damn, man.
It wasn't done like Quentin Tarantino's Kill Bill. Like Kill Bill Volume 1, that animation was done very well.
But yeah, I mean, yeah, and you know what? I thought that while I was watching this, like the similarities between those two movies.
There's tons.
It's like, man, you didn't hate it that much, motherfucker, because I see a lot in Kill Bill from Natural Born Killers,
right?
And you could say you got it elsewhere, but I'm just saying there's some fucking similarities there, QT. Just saying.
Is there any redeeming scene, Lee, or are you just like, I'm shitting on this and I'm done?
No, I mean, pretty much anything with Tommy Lee Jones is gold in it. And, he's like, just the way he looks like a scumbag from the 70s.
Yeah.
And Tom Sawyer, there's lots of cool scenes in it. Like Doug said, the opening scene, or, pretty much any of the stuff where Scagnetti's following behind in the crime scenes. But I mean, overall, it just doesn't work for me.
Put a bottle of Dom on ice. I'm gonna go over there and put a hot pepper ass Ming! Like, that shit's fucking brilliant. I love that.
This is fucking junk, right? What?
But
You're gonna leave somebody. We're gonna leave the camera.
That movie, he could have trimmed 30 fucking minutes off the movie, shit canned all that goddamn background garbage, and he would have had something. He would have had something that would stand, that I would definitely probably still love today. But because of all that fucking extra bullshit, I just don't have time for it anymore. And it's nonsense. That whole fucking scene with the shaman, fucking nonsense, dude. Nonsense. You just put it in there because you're fucking Oliver Stone. You don't know how not to.
Yeah, but
fuck yeah, they're eating mushrooms, and of course they're going to go to this guy's house, and he's going to have a fucking pet rattlesnake. Of course we're going to do that.
They were driving around in a limo doing location scouting out in the desert, and the producers at Oliver Stone were actually eating mushrooms. That whole scene.
Of course they fucking were, Garrick. You can tell that by watching those first fucking 5 minutes of the movie.
Yeah, no, the first 20 minutes.
One of my favorite Oliver Stone stories is Colin Farrell said when he came in to audition to play Alexander, he said, "All right, Oliver, where's the cocaine and hookers?" And Oliver's like, I don't do that anymore. So he's like, that was so well known that people just expect him to be like that.
Who said that?
He's a much older guy.
Colin Farrell.
He's probably much calmer on set than he was in 1993.
Yeah. I think he really got into it.
She runs into the wall, and it goes to the POV shot. Robert Richardson actually had the camera and ran into the wall, and the eyepiece jammed into his eye and cut his eye open. Wow. Which, if you're a cinematographer, is a terrible thing to do. Yeah. That's how out of control it was.
I can see that.
He was probably coked up, too. But
I'm sure he was.
There's nobody better than Robbie Richardson.
Oh, he's the man.
I mean, there really is nobody better. Darius Kanji, maybe. But Robert Richardson is, without a doubt. I mean, just from all the Oliver Stone, and speaking of Quentin Tarantino movies, I mean, Richardson does all of those, doesn't he? Did he do Once Upon a Time?
Yeah. He's done all of them since Inglourious Bastards.
Yeah, that makes sense.
I believe. And he did Kill Bill, too.
I love
the only one he had done in like the last 10 years is Death Proof, I'll say.
Does that count? It counts, right? Nobody knows yet.
Yeah.
I love the soundtrack. I love the soundtrack of this movie.
The soundtrack is great.
It's fan-fucking-tastic. It saved a lot of this.
Oh, sure.
For me. But it's like...
The Leonard Cohen stuff, the future...
Yeah, it's like, come on in. Come on into the movie theater on opening night. And I could just see fucking Oliver Stone giving out tickets and handing out fucking tabs of LSD to everybody who came to see it. Because that's how you're really going to enjoy it.
That's how I enjoyed it.
Because if you're not, then you're like, well, what the fuck is all this extra bullshit in my face?
Well, now we're almost 50, Doug, so that kind of stuff is like loud, and it's like, oh, God, our attention, we've got kids now, so our attention span is fucking all over the place.
I'm just saying.
Okay, well, I mean,
saying.
All right, well, whatever. And everybody agrees Tommy Lee Jones is the best character in the movie.
I know who's not the best character.
Who?
Wayne Gale is not the best character.
I know he's not. When Wayne Gale was as coked up as Oliver Stone in 93.
Jesus Christ.
Wasn't that when he was sleeping in his walking into his neighbor's house and sleeping in their bed because he didn't know where he was?
I'm pretty sure that he was still...
Now he's a billionaire.
A touch... Here's the thing. Here's what I'll say. Here's what I'll say about Robert Downey Jr. He's always had immense talent. But I think back then, when he was it's like he was almost competing against himself, and he just could never win. And when he decided to put all that to the side and just have fun doing the shit, he's been amazing, and you can look at him and tell how fucking happy he is. You know, you go back and watch some of his...
Besides Less Than Zero, he was perfect.
He needed to be in that, but go look at who's the little fucking mustache dude? Chaplin. He looks fucking miserable the whole movie. He's amazing in it, but he looks fucking miserable. Go watch him in I don't know, fucking Sherlock Holmes. He looks like he's having the time of his fucking life. Doesn't even look like the same human being.
Exactly. I'd say, like, since Iron Man, or not even that, since Kiss Kiss Bang Bang.
Yes.
I'll say.
Yeah.
It's kind of like watching a Burt Reynolds movies in the 70s. You can tell he's having a fucking ball.
Yes. And that couldn't necessarily be said before when he was using and was... I think he just got caught up in everybody telling him how fucking great he was, and he, believed it. And thought he could do whatever the fuck he wanted. And I like to see stories like that. Like, he's one of my favorite actors, dude. I fucking love him. I'll watch him in anything from here on in. Except for the
Dr. Dolittle.
Except for fucking Dolittle, and I had to skip that one, but
Yeah.
I think that one's acceptable.
Don't feel bad. So did everyone else.
Yeah, exactly.
All right. Well, whatever. So completely mixed reviews. We had a still love, a meh, and a dog shit.
This is a C.
I'm not saying it's dog shit. I'm just saying it's 100% not for me.
Yeah.
Gary, I see what you love about it. I just don't love that. That's the best way I can put it.
Yeah.
It's definitely not an opera of cinema.
It's not?
It's not an opera of cinema. No.
Are you sure?
Yes.
With those cutaways?
No.
Those magic cutaways?
An opera of cinema is like it's like a movie, to explain that. It's a movie you don't even have to turn the music on, and an orchestra could play the whole time, and it would just feel like it's moving like that. It's just...
And this wasn't that for
No,
you?
A Thin Red Line is an opera of cinema. Yes, that's correct. Phantom Thread is an opera. Every one of Paul Thomas Anderson's movies are an opera of cinema. Every scene is perfect, and it's done, cut perfect. It's framed perfect. Natural Born Killers is all over the place.
Okay.
The minute they use VHS C cam in that movie, it doesn't get categorized. It's gone.
Oh. Okay.
Speaking of VHS C, I watched One Cut of the Dead.
What'd you think?
Man, I don't know, dude. I want to know how they... All right, I want to know if it really was one cut. And if it really was one cut, how did they shoot that? Did they just shoot one full cut of the movie a day, going through and doing that and blocking it? I mean, how did they do it?
I don't know. For that guy's first movie, though, it's very impressive.
The movie is not for me, and a lot of it makes no sense, because the cameraman every now and then doesn't get eaten when he should get eaten. I mean, it's a total joke. But I was impressed because in the first couple of seconds, somebody got a water mark on the lens, and that fucking watermark stayed on that camera until... And I'm sitting there, and I kept watching, and I was like, man, they haven't cut, because that watermark is still on that camera. And then he runs out, or they kill that one guy, the blood flies all over the lens. This is like 30 minutes in. And they open up the door, and they start running with the camera. You know what I'm talking about, right?
Oh, yeah.
And you see the cameraman, you just see a hand come up and wipe the lens of the camera. It just wipes the lens. And I was like, I bet that was a cut, but I don't think it was, man. I loved it. Like, I wish that I could do some shit like that.
I mean, technically, it's very impressive.
Yeah, the movie sucks, but dude, you can't not enjoy that movie for the simple fact that, especially as a filmmaker, it's like, how the fuck did he do that?
Right.
I bet they shot that whole thing. I bet they did like...
Almost like it's a play.
Yeah, and they did it one take through every day until they got it perfect. That's the only way that they rehearsed a whole lot, and maybe they just did one take 4 times. Maybe they rehearsed it. I have no idea. I would love to sit that dude down. I wish that dude knew English. I would love to sit him down, man. Or I wish I had clout to get him on the phone and go, dude, tell me how you did this. One Cut of the Dead. It's one cut. It's a zombie movie. It's completely ridiculous.
Right.
But if it's true, there isn't one cut. This movie, the whole time, it starts off as a zombie movie.
Well, but it doesn't... Let me ask you this. So you call it one cut, or a movie comes out and they claim it to be one cut, and when you're watching it, it looks and feels like it's one cut, right?
Yeah.
Does it matter if it's not?
Well, that movie would...
I'm saying, but if the editing is so good that you can't tell, like, is that okay or not?
No, it's not the same thing. You know how hard it is to set up a scene?
Well, then, do you think that...
I think Birdman...
Do you think that... Well, I was actually talking about...
1917?
In 1917, I was
there
Sam
was cuts
Mendes.
in 1917, though, I think.
Well, I'm telling you that there absolutely were.
This guy was on a VHS camera.
But it didn't...
He was on a... What do you believe, Lee? Do you believe it was one cut, or do you think they faked it?
In one cut, that I have no idea, because I've only watched it once. I'd have to go back and watch it again.
I never saw a cut, and it's different. It's just different. I see it. It's different.
Okay.
Listen, 1917 is a crew of 600 people.
Yeah, I just use it as an example of something where I know it looks like it has not been cut, but I fucking promise you it has been. What is the difference between that and this?
I'll tell you what the difference is. One Cut of the Dead is you, Lee, and I with my video camera that's over there on that table, and we're like, all right, we're doing this with our buddies, and we don't have the technical aspects or anything to do this movies. We're just going to roll through it. Now, I may be wrong, but I thought it was very inventive. The movie's shit. You know, it's a zombie movie. But the way they did it, even if they faked it, that's pretty cool. I kind of like it.
I will be very interested to see the guy's second movie.
Yes. For sure. 100% for sure. Well, anybody else? I guess I can just finish.
Go ahead, Garrick.
Speaking of, I watched both Kill Bill movies.
You said you watched every fucking one of his movies.
I know, but I want to get through all of them. But yes, I watched The Hateful Eight, the extended. I watched Inglourious Bastards, Kill Bill, and Kill Bill 2.
Okay.
I don't know which one I like the most. They're all so awesome. But you can tell, like, as his movies go on, like, he gets more and more, what's the word I'm looking for? Leniency from Weinstein. He could, you know what I mean? Some stuff was just kind of random, and I'm like, oh yeah, it just, I don't know. It's all signature Tarantino.
Right.
Kill Bill did feel like Oliver Stone. It felt like his, hey, I'm going to take some aspects from my Natural Born Killers script and use it in Kill Bill. But you know, we don't have to talk about this. It's Quentin Tarantino. Everybody's there. Right. That's what I watched, just to kind of, because I haven't seen them in forever, and they're all brilliant, man. I mean, and it's funny because Tarantino's known for his writing, but the people that he's surrounded himself with that make his movies are, I mean, even when the writing's only decent, the set production and Robbie Richardson's cinematography, I mean, that's the gas. The Hateful Eight, the title sequence when he just pulls off the Jesus stone.
It's the best, dude.
He has been able to surround himself with the best of the best in every department of filmmaking, and notwithstanding his great scripts and great stories, he's got everything else working at 100% as well.
Right.
I mean, it's kind of like he's like Hitchcock. It just, at this point in time, he's got all his people in place, and that's what he's doing.
I think that's part of the reason why it's like, yeah, I'm going to do like, you know, maybe one or two more projects, and then that's it. You know, go on to something else where he won't have such.
Yeah, it's like The Office, where it's like people start retiring and they're getting older. He's worked with such the same people and had done the same thing for so long.
Go do some other shit.
Yeah, I'm gonna go do something else.
Yeah.
Plus, he's got a kid now.
Yeah.
There you go.
I mean, you know,
other shit to do, man.
Yeah, exactly.
That is for sure. So anyway, we don't have to dive deep into that. That's probably another 3-block podcast at some point in time. But anyway, that's what I watched.
Okay. Lee, did you see anything, champ?
Yesterday I was off work, and because it's President's Day, and my girlfriend, she had to work, and so she was in the bedroom, working from home. So I sat in the movie room, and I watched 3 movies. Well, 4 if you count Natural Born Killers. But I've already talked about that.
Yeah.
And I watched. They're all movies. 2 of them I'd seen before. One of them I had.
Oh.
And
another never seen it before from Lee.
Yep. And
that's 2. For anybody out there keeping score at home, that's 2.
I'm sure they are. I'm sure they have like a big chalkboard. Anyway, so from 1980, 1981, I watched, which I hadn't seen in a few years, Heavy Metal.
Okay.
Yeah. Anthology movie.
Okay.
And I wonder if the makers of this ever thought about suing Luc Besson when The Fifth Element came out. Because the cab story, the first story at the beginning, is very similar to The Fifth Element. Aspects of it are.
Yeah. Agreed.
And I'm sure he's seen that.
Oh, for sure.
I haven't seen that movie in a long time. Didn't that have the first animated pair of breastises in it?
Definitely, probably in an American movie, yes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I remember seeing that going, whoa, that's a cartoon.
Like cartoon boobs.
Cartoon titties.
Nice.
And after that, I watched a movie from 2011 called Ironclad, which I'd seen before, once in the theater. And it's the story of after, in the 13th century, when King John signed the Magna Carta, which basically took away power from him and gave it to the people to create what we know of now as the Parliament in England. But then he immediately went, with something I'd never heard before, he immediately went and raised a mercenary army and tried to take back, basically undo the Magna Carta. And it's basically, it's a siege movie. These 20 knights hole up in this castle, and because basically this castle in southern England, it's basically, if you can get past it, you can get to London. So it's basically like it's a siege movie, and parts of it are very well done. The editing is a little too Jason Bourne in the fight scenes. Like, it's very sloppy editing. And like I said, I haven't seen it since I saw it in the theater, and it totally took me out of it. Like, there's action scenes in it that are very well done. But then there's just, like, a lot of the hand-to-hand, the sword fights, you cannot tell what's going on.
Yeah.
So that one I didn't like as much on rewatch. But the third movie, the one I'd never seen before, was a Hong Kong movie called The Iceman Cometh. Not in no way connection to the play from the 40s. And it's about a guy's in Ming Dynasty. He's like a imperial guard. He's one of the bodyguards to the emperor. And there's another one of the guards who's basically lost his mind. He's now like murdering and raping women. And they get into this sword fight on top of this mountain, and they basically fall off and get frozen, and they wake up in 1989 modern day. And it was very well done.
Nice.
You could tell that the guy who'd seen it, he loved the movie Highlander, because there are some shots in it that are just taken straight from the first Highlander, But the final fight it's phenomenal. Nice. It's one of the best I've ever seen.
Whoa. And
it's sort of a fantasy, romance, action movie.
Where's that? Is that streaming somewhere? Did you?
I know there's a martial arts streaming service called Hi-Ya, which is a terrible title that I got on for this month on Amazon. I think it's like $2 a month.
Yeah, I gotcha. Okay.
Yeah, and that's all I watched. Nice. What about you, Doug?
I watched 2 movies. Look, I watched Tropic Thunder because I saw it was on. I just fucking love it.
Fool. What's up, fool?
I needed some fucking Les Grossman. I needed some fucking Simple Jack. I needed some Robert Downey Jr.
At his best, not his worst.
I mean, look, this is... Watching it the other night and trying to be like, man, is this okay? I just immediately just was like, who gives a fuck? Like, is it funny? Yes. So, inside of any joke, I guess you can allow something like that to hurt your feelings if you want, or you can find something offensive in just about any joke or comedy that's ever been made in human existence.
Right.
And will there ever be another movie like Tropic Thunder? I certainly fucking hope so. But it's probably going to be a ways on down the road. But I really, really, really fucking enjoyed a lot of it, man.
It's really well done.
I mean, it's Tom Cruise.
It's Les Grossman.
He just was so fucking great.
Fucking nutless monkey could do your job.
Yeah.
A nutless monkey.
Tom Cruise as Harvey Weinstein.
Yeah. What I want you to do is take a big step back and fuck your own face! Like, he's just fucking so perfect in that role.
Playa?
Big dick player. It's just fucking magic, dude. I mean,
it really is.
Like, Ben Stiller kind of getting all these guys together, I feel like he kind of probably talked Tom Cruise into doing that, because they're
buddies.
They're buddies somehow, which I always found to be very strange, but really enjoy it, man. I've never watched it and not enjoyed it.
You know who's great in it is Nick Nolte.
Yeah.
Four-leaf Tayback?
Yeah.
Yeah. Who has hands?
And, I mean, just everybody, like Danny McBride's in it for, he has like a small part in it.
But he's amazing.
He's amazing.
Yeah.
After I saw it, I said I would walk around for months quoting the fact Mother Nature just shit her pantsuit.
Yes. It's the best.
Oh, speaking of, holy shit, I forgot. I watched The Fabulous Gemstones.
Oh, you did?
Yeah, it's The Fabulous Gemstones? Yes. Oh, my. And it's so good. But there was a moment at the very end of the first episode, first season, when he runs that dude over. And this is perfect. He ran, I don't know, you guys have seen it, right?
I've seen it.
So he runs him. He runs the guy over after he shoots him. Right, he runs him over, and he's still moving in the car. And it's a wide shot, and it's up high. And I know Danny McBride wrote it. I was like, Danny McBride is gonna back that car up and run over him again. I know he will. And sure enough, he not only backs him up, but the guy gets up and starts running through the shopping center, and he turns a curve with the car. You know what I'm talking about?
Yeah.
And runs him over again. And I couldn't help but bust out hysterically.
Yeah.
Because that's just perfect. He is the funniest shit. I love him, man.
He's good
How great
sometimes.
is Walt Goggins in that show?
What's that?
Walton Goggins.
Oh, yeah. Oh, I haven't gotten to two. I haven't gotten to second yet.
Okay.
That was the last scene. The last show I watched was where
Mama said not to. I did it anyway. Misbehaving. God damn. You get that shit in your head, man. It'll stick there for a few weeks. It's just brilliant, man. God, love it.
It's great. Yeah. Great movie.
Okay, I only watched one other thing. I didn't remember it, so I decided to give it another day in court, and I see why I didn't remember it. Is Safe House from, I guess it was 2012, even though it seems more like 2015, with Denzel Washington and Ryan Reynolds.
Oh, yeah. Yeah.
Where Ryan Reynolds is a guy that sits at one of these, CIA safe houses, and he's down in South Africa. They bring a prisoner in, the place is breached, and he's on the run with this, maybe the most wanted man, certainly for the United States, walking the earth, whatever. Look, I love watching Denzel kick ass as much as anybody. It's one of my favorite fucking things to do. And he's very effective in this. He's very good in this. But the rest of the movie, there's just no story, and it's just kind of meh.
Well, I've never seen it, but the trailer, I remember looking like this movie really wanted to be directed by Tony Scott.
Yeah. Well, when I was sitting there watching it or talking about putting it on, my buddy Eric was like, he's like, yeah, Tony Scott did this. And I was like, no, he fucking didn't. And he's like, yeah, he didn't. I was like, no, he fucking didn't. Let's look it up, because it, like you say, it had that look and feel, but...
Right.
Sorry, no. And it's got some, like I say, if you want to see Denzel doing Denzel stuff, he's fine in it. It's just, it's not that great of a movie. It does have some alright action in it, though. I'll give it a B-, C+-ish.
Right.
That's what I watched. Nothing too cool.
Nothing too cool, Mickey. Not too cool, Mickey.
Not too cool, Mickey.
Not too cool. All right, well, on the bulletin board, we had a poll who was the best supporting cast member in True Romance. Something is wrong with it. I apologize. They've changed the polling system on this thing.
Something's wrong with your poll?
Yeah, well, no, you can't vote. I had a couple people send me a message and say they can't vote, and I couldn't vote, so I can't vote. If you noticed, Garrick didn't vote. You didn't vote because you're not on Facebook.
Yeah, fuck.
Lee voted, and I don't know how he did it. Maybe it's because he's a Samsung or whatever, but I couldn't vote, which led me to believe that nobody else could vote because there was only 3 votes. That's not what
it somehow allowed me to vote twice.
Right, so there you go. So something was wrong with the poll, so never mind. Fucking Drexel's the best
I voted
character.
Ghost of Elvis since Doug wasn't there.
Thank you.
And then I was trying to click and see who did vote for Drexel because I assumed it was you, Garrett. And when I clicked on it, it voted me twice.
Yeah, I didn't. I couldn't.
Something was very wrong with it.
It wouldn't let me vote at all. And then a couple other people that we have on there that are my good friends sent me a text and was like, "Hey man, I can't vote on that thing." And I'm like, "Dude, I don't know." I don't know. Hey, we've moved to SoundCloud, guys. I hope that helps out. Got a lot more clicks this week. I don't know whether it was because the True Romance show was so good or the change of transfer. No thanks to Spreaker. I'm going to be honest. If anybody's out there wanting to do podcasts, stay away from Spreaker. There's better options, and I've been doing a lot of research in our 2 years of doing this, and SoundCloud seems to be very good. It's unfortunate you have to pay $160 for a year, but that actually works out to whatever, $12.99 a month. But you get the better deal if you do a year. But it does. It allows you to transfer it easier. It allows you to share it easier. It's a very good. It works real well with Google Play. And it seems to be pretty good so far. We've only had one show on there, and Doug's already canceled the app. He's like, this fucking thing, he won't let me close
out anything on the fucking thing. So I'll just have to download it, listen to the episode, fucking get rid of it. I think it's probably my phone is just an old piece of shit, just like me.
Or you just don't know how to use it.
Fuck you.
All right, our pick a flick this week. I'll do it real fast. It's one of those movies, just like Natural Born Killers. It's the 4-hour-long Nixon. If you haven't seen it, it's an Oliver Stone.
Fucking hell! You just recommended that to someone? Oh fuck!
And it's great.
So this is a recommendation we fully expect no one to take us up on.
Hey, if you like history and if you like Oliver Stone's twists of history,
well,
Nixon is your movie. Lee and I was very interested before we sign off here. I sent this to the guys yesterday, or was it the day before yesterday? I found an ad for a movie called Bloody Hell. But the ad says it's as if, and if you watch movies and you're on Instagram, then you've probably seen this too, and this is no news to you. It's as if Rambo was in Midsommar. That's from Film Threat. I can't help but spend money to watch this movie.
I'm going to leave here. I'm going to go to as many fucking red boxes as I have to go to.
They win!
I'm going to secure this motherfucker, and I'm going to watch it tonight.
That's the first time I looked at it, and I hate Midsommar. I'm like, where the fuck did they get off putting Rambo and Midsommar in the same ad?
Well, I did.
First off, Rambo was in Midsommar. He would have killed everybody in that village.
And I probably would have liked it. It would have been a 15-minute movie, but I would have loved it.
Yeah.
But I did go and watch the trailer, and it reminded me a little bit of a movie that we covered some time back called Witching and Bitching. It just I don't know why. Just when I watched that, it reminded me of it. So we'll see.
All right, so you guys keep me informed if you get Bloody Hell, and if you guys do, I'll try to find it too. Maybe we can do a little double feature.
Like I say, I know of 2 fucking red boxes on my way home. I'm going to swing by both of them if I have to.
Well, the suspense of next week doesn't even matter, because I know that everybody in this fucking room loves our next week's From Dusk Till Dawn.
Ooh,
I know that for a fact.
I'm just going to let Lee talk next week and just sit here quietly with my fucking hands folded in my lap and just not say a word. I don't know if we'll get a fucking word in edgewise.
I've got a lot to say, and it's...
You better say it early, because once Lee gets going, we're just going to have to sit here and take it. It's going to be awesome, but I full on expect just, like, you want to talk about, like, fanboy experience, we're getting ready to have it next week, big time with Lee, because I know this is...
I would try myself how to dispute that, but I think if I did, it would be a lie.
Yeah, you can't. you can't.
Now, see, but now you've ruined it. Because now he's going to be like Bonnie. You know, Bonnie told him to be nice to me.
So you're saying I fucking ruined it.
So now next week, Lee's going to come and we're going to be like, what'd you think, Lee? And it's going to be like crickets.
I thought it was okay. Tarantino is acting with... yes. If we get that, then it's my fucking fault. I'm betting on Lee to do better than that.
There you go. Well, next week, vampires and the titty twister, baby, and maybe Rambo in Midsummer. We'll see what happens. Thanks for listening, folks.